Okay.
I've never had guests watching. I've never watched. So now I'm also trying to regulate myself and be like, okay, don't go to YouTube fanatic. Or what? What's about? No, that's not how you do it. We're laughing.
No, I had an outfit on. Let's make it simple, yeah. Like these, like bell bottom pants.
I believe, like,
I was so
lounge wear.
I'm like, you're gonna be on YouTube.
Oh my
And
god!
I was like, what? I was so simple. She's like, no, Faith, like, at least be more cute.
Oh, wow, pressure. Didi, it's not gonna be hectic. It's really gonna be chilled, okay?
It's
I really love this though. This is
the conversations we've had.
It's conversations we've had, but we haven't had them like this since Kika's birthday.
Yes, it's actually been just over the phone.
3 years.
When I think it's 3 years, the surprise party. 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years.
That's when I was still dating.
Yes, that.
Yeah.
Before we get into this, welcome everybody to the Real Model Podcast. Welcome to the Real Model Podcast, and this is our 4th episode. I'm very excited. I'm excited to have this conversation with this amazing guest here. I am going to introduce her as Didi Khaleesi. And let me tell you why Khaleesi, because I still want to understand. And it's probably old because she changed her handle, but to me, she still remains as Didi Khaleesi.
I changed that name a long time. I have evolved. Can we not stick to my Instagram name now?
Okay, let's grow with you. Please introduce yourself properly. You're not Didi Khaleesi?
I'm Didi's Unalume.
Unalume.
So Unalume is it means a journey of enlightenment.
Ah,
yes.
Beautiful. How did that come about?
I don't know. I think I was just I don't know if I was just sitting or I was actually no. I wanted to get a tattoo. But because I've just like got commitment issues to tattoos, I was like, what am I gonna get that I'm gonna look at every day and I'll be like, you know what? This is the one. So I'm thinking, Pinterest always gives you like stuff and things in different languages because I think it's Hinduism descent. Yeah,
I was about to ask what.
Yeah. So I saw that and they were like, it's a journey of enlightenment and how sometimes just because you go through the bad stuff doesn't mean at the end of the tunnel there's no light. You go through the bad stuff to grow. So the reason I say Didi's Unaluma on Instagram was so people can just see my journey of enlightenment.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes.
And that's why. So scratch Didi Khaleesi.
Yes.
That
was bad bitch days.
Excuse me. Girl, say it as it is. Say it as it is. We grow, we overcome, we heal, and we just unlearn from our mistakes.
Come through.
That's it. So, Didi, the first time, before I even touch this thing, how we met was Keke's birthday surprise party.
Was that the first time we actually met?
That was I believe it was the very first time we met. I knew about you, I knew of you through pictures, conversations, and everything else at the time.
It was actually 4 years ago.
Yes. But we had never met. And then we met.
Twins. It was always like twins.
That description is
just always you're gonna meet the twins. The twins, yes, you'll see them, the twins.
Oh my god. That was so intense. So that happened. We became acquainted. I can't fully say, and I'm gonna ask you this, I can't fully say we became friends because I mean already we haven't seen each other since. But we've been talking. We got acquainted and then life happened, breakups, whatnot. And for a moment I said there, like, okay, do I now start talking to you? Because when people are like that, it's like, yo, if it ends there,
you stop
you break off
people I
completely,
introduced you to.
You know?
Which is quite unfair.
It doesn't make sense.
It's quite unfair.
You know?
Yes.
So I was like, do I stop? I'm like, nah, but she didn't do anything to me. And maybe she doesn't even know what I messed up in this relationship. So it ended, but I still want to continue my friendship with her because she's cool. And here we are, you know. So for me, it became, I think you changed numbers.
I did.
Yeah, and that's when we started communicating properly again because I think we were not even talking for almost a good year.
Yeah, I think we had, you know, those people you do have on your WhatsApp and you see their statuses, but you never really talk to them and you just comment here and there. I think that was us.
That's how we
started. That was definitely us, yeah. Yes.
For one, I'm actually happy I kept that connection because you became one of you became a special person in my life in terms of understanding balance and, you know, how to go like certain things, you know, okay, Didi was making sense with this. I could talk to her, and especially the last few months, girl, I was like,
it was tough life.
Woo! You know when you sit and you have people in your life, but the moment you sit to question, who can I talk to? Then you wonder how, okay, what are people in my life for? And why am I struggling to identify an individual I can go to, you know, in a place of need? Am I lacking trust towards certain people? Like, you know, but then coming to a person I'm not so tight with was a lot easier because there isn't that pressure or that baggage of they're going to question, why did you go back there? Why this?
So there isn't really that room for like judgment, because I feel like a lot of people most of the time, like it's just from you, just knowing you always like constantly there for people. When people need something, okay, there's you know. And I'm also the same where we're like, you know what, we're constantly there for people, but like the moments when we are down and we have to ask for help, we struggle.
I feel like there's no exactly.
You really, really struggle to be like, who can I dial? And you just also feel like I don't want to burden anyone. Let me just keep it in. I don't want to burden anyone. It's fine. I'll get through it. Until you actually speak to somebody, like you said, you're not so tight with, and then you know like that lack of judgment is actually
it's not there.
It's really not there, and the person's actually able to be more objective than the people with them. Yeah.
My friend actually, and I said this once to my friend, and he's like, why would you think you're a burden to anyone? And I'm like, because I guess when you're not used to...
Do you know the kind of a trauma response? I'm just saying.
We'll unpack that. Me, I want to touch on those things. I will unpack that. And he's like, dude, oh, sorry. Please switch on the speaker. Apologies, guys. So he's like, no, you're not a burden to anyone. And you can't even place why you would think that, because no one has made you feel like you're a burden to them, you know. My therapist also once asked me, am I aware that I'm a loner and am I okay with it? And I was like, actually, yeah, I'm learning to be okay with it, because for the longest of times, I've always had people in my space, in my life. I've always been there for people. There's just always people around. And for the first time, now I get to sit and be like,
and you know, like that is actually a hard thing. Like I've always thought it's hard. You know how in relationships or friendships, you always like, be vulnerable, speak to me. And we're like, you know, we always think that's the hard part. But to actually sit down with yourself, where it's silent and there's no human being inside, and you literally have to question your inner being, that is difficult, because that means you need to like open up wounds that you dealt with. You need to literally be uncomfortable in your loneliness. To literally, for you to get to that point of solitude, to be like, okay, you know what, I am fine being by myself, but it is hard. Be vulnerable to yourself.
That's crazy. So, but now, even in that process, how do you begin to even explain it to other people? Remember we were talking about how friends feel like, oh, you detached, you know. How do you even begin to explain it when you are even struggling to explain it to yourself? When you're trying to discover what is the space that I'm in, and you have people being like, what's going on? Open up to me, talk to me. And I'm just like, I can't.
And then people take it as a personal attack.
You know, they take it as a personal attack. And then you now try to differentiate over now, okay, is this a friend, or is this just an acquaintance? Like, do you start now assessing if this was a genuine friendship? Because now you're at a peak where, or a point where you're just wondering, oh, now, was this real to begin with? If you're just here wondering, why am I distancing myself from you? When I keep saying it's not about you, it's not, you know, how do you even evaluate those type of friendships? Where do you even place them in your life?
Oh, guys, friendships are hard. Let me tell you something. Like, friendships in primary school, they're so easy, guys. When you think about like boys and girls and like little buddies, but like when it comes to navigating adult friendships, it's quite difficult. You know, because some of us are still at a point where we're still trying to figure out who we are. We're still at a point where some people have kids, some people have hectic job schedules, some people are married. People have some sort of like mental illnesses that they're going through, you know. And I just feel like it's very important that you give each other grace, you know. And just know that, like, before you're my friend, and this is what my ex-girlfriend used to tell me when I used to just struggle a lot with my mom's relationship. And she's like, you need to remember something. Before your mom is your mom, she is a human being.
Yeah.
That's why people need to remember, I am a human being. I am not a robot that can constantly just alter my operations according to what you're clicking and what you want to hear. You get what I'm saying? And I think people need to allow you to be. They need to know that, like, the Tsoho that I met 3 years ago is not the same Tsoho now, you know? And if Tsoho is evolving and she's also not understanding what it is that's going on, let me extend that grace to her. Let me be like, you know what? I will give you a safe space to grow. I think that's very important in my friendships. I was having a conversation with my friends, and we were talking about how we just saying what do we appreciate about each other. And I was like, we just appreciate how we can create a space where you don't have to pretend. You don't, not even pretend like be fake, but like you can keep quiet and that's it. And you can tell them, listen, I don't want to speak for the next week. And that should be fine.
I understand that.
Do not take it personally as if my whole life then revolves around this whole friendship. My friendship can still exist outside of what it is that I'm going through, you know. And as my friend, if you say you love me so much, allow me that grace. Allow me that space to also be and figure out myself. Don't take it as a personal attack, like I'm abandoning you, you know. And like you said, with people who, when you feel like a burden and people are like that, it becomes even more difficult to ask for help. Because this very same person takes everything as a personal attack. Even if you were to ask for help, somehow they'll turn it and make it about them. And now you end up having to be there for them instead of them being there for you. You get what I mean? Like, let's give each other, like, grace. Like, let it be a very wholesome process. Let it be a very wholesome process.
It's funny because, and I think I explained this to you, one of the friends made me feel like, oh, but I'm always, why are you? And I was like, babes, you're not getting it. I'm not, this is not about you. I'm trying to explain the space I'm in and why I can't be present. So for you to come back and say, I'm always doing da 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 da, it's not helping.
Friendship is not about keeping scores either. Any kind of friendship, any kind of relationship, it's not about keeping scores.
This is a problem. So before we go in too deep, which we already have, I have 3 questions for you.
It's a very triggering.
It's very, I want to even go back.
Triggering.
So for me, one of the main things or the reasons why I'm doing this podcast, and it's going to leave me very open to a lot of people, but anyway, it is what it is, is for me to deal with my own triggers and traumas, figuring out as well what they are, you know. I've been aware that I feel like reaching out or calling somebody may be a burden, but I'm not sure, now that you're saying it's a trauma experience, I don't know where that would stem from. So in order for me to not feel like that, I have to figure out and try and understand, okay, where does that come from? Why would you feel that way? When people are just always open to helping you the same way you are open to helping them. But we will unpack this a lot. That's going on. You did psychology, right? Yes. It's just a counselor. Yes, man. This is, you see, guys, God is working here. There's a reason for these things. So what I wanted to ask you, are you a counselor for kids or everyone?
For everyone, but mostly right now I'm more focused on kids because I'm in psychology and education. Yes, so I'm in psychology and education. I just have a passion for kids. Adults, a lot. Adults.
Listen, our trauma, guys. Our adult trauma. Do you know what I was watching? I was checking. I don't know if you saw it. Jasmine Sullivan put up a status. She asked a question about relationships or whatever, and people are coming out about how they cheat and everything else. And this lady's like, I've been with my man for 16 years, and I've been with my side for 14 years. I was like, you are a mess. Listen, when I say, or when the statuses have many, many dots there, there were many responses, and I was just like, whoa, and it's mostly women. So we keep saying men are trash, but I'm just like, and don't come for me. No one should come for me at this point. But can we evaluate ourselves as well as women? Can we evaluate what our traumas are, what our triggers are, so that we don't carry it over to the next person? Don't bring it into a relationship. 16 years? You've been cheating 14 under 16?
Do you know what it is? Actually, let me not say I know what it is entirely, but you know how sometimes people are like greedy. You know when you're in a relationship, right? And you know the 80-20 rule. In a relationship, you get 80% of what you want, and then the other 20% is like a walking temptation across the street. You know, and then people want like both worlds, and it's just like, you know what? If I'm not going to get caught,
why not?
Like, why not? You know, like, why not?
Okay. I was so triggered sitting in bed meeting. I was like, wait, what is going on? This is too much.
It is.
This is too much. But anyway,
people do not want to address their issues at the end of the day. Also, that's another thing.
Yeah.
Because you would need to see that you have a problem first. Because if I come for you and I was like, to her, I feel like 1, 2, 3, but if you don't see it, you're going to feel like I'm attacking you because you're not evaluating yourself, you're not introspecting, and you're not trying to see what kind of boundaries you have or where you're lacking or where you're overstepping. So everything that's taken, it's you literally processing everything through the lens of they're out to get me. But like, why do you think everybody's out to get you? You know, why don't you want to accept the truth about certain things about yourself? It's a conversation another day also.
Guys, I wonder how long this video is going to be, because wow. Okay, if I ask you my 3 questions before we continue. Would you rather meet, when you time travel, if you have an option to time travel, would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors, or travel to the future to meet your descendants?
Hey!
Tricky. I don't know how to answer it myself, but yeah.
Come on, God. No, that is a tough one. So I either travel back in time to meet my ancestors or to meet my descendants.
Tricky.
I would go to the future. I think I'd like to meet but do I get to speak to my descendants?
Let's say you do. Let's say yes, you get to speak to them.
Okay, then so I think I'll travel back to. Yeah, no, I'll not travel back. I'll travel to the future. Because you know what, I just feel like because I believe in ancestors 100%. Ancestors are everything to me. Ancestors and God are everything to me. And I feel like through our intuition and through the universe and through prayer and just through doing things that really ground you and grow your spiritual roots, they communicate with you somehow. And you meet certain people that they can communicate through to you, you know, and they're guiding you. So I'd like to trust that, like, I am spiritually open enough to hear what they're saying to get to a point where I am now. You know, I don't think I would have been where I am now if it was not for my ancestors and for God.
Sure.
And so, like, I'm moving and I'm growing. And if I'm growing, I don't want to go back. So I'd rather than go to the future and then speak to those that follow after me to just give them the same sort of guidance that I got, but now I would rather be face to face. So maybe they don't repeat the same mistakes that I did, or that they don't miss certain signs that I missed, you know. So I'd rather.
Phew, that's powerful. That makes so much sense. Because for me, when I thought of it, I was like, I'd want to go back and to try and understand certain things and having conversations with my ancestors. But I mean, at this present moment, you're able to do that if you wanted to, right? And I mean, if you go back, what are you going back to seek that is going to change your present time right now, you know? Whereas in the future, at least it prepares you for what's to come. So I like that. The future.
Because also just like with just the universe working or God working or whatever people see as their higher being, and ancestors, like if you think of how a situation just keeps repeating itself, if you don't learn your lesson in a situation, it will keep repeating itself until you are uncomfortable, until you are embarrassed, until you cannot look yourself in the mirror, and until you can be like, you know what, actually I need to learn. That's like a way, because remember, for me, ancestors is like an energy. So I'm saying ancestors live. Physically, they are gone. Words have taken, but it's an energy that, like, it's still alive. It's present. You feel them. They are in you. You are consuming a certain energy, you know, and they just, they have a way of.
I mean, already you're representing a part of them. A part of them lives in you.
So listen, hundreds, thousands of them, and there's so many ways. Because I feel like even if you say you want to go to the past and say you want to speak to your ancestors, that's why you get your spiritual healers that allow themselves to be that passage for you to go to them and speak to your ancestors and see what it is they seek from you, or what is blocking you way, or what it is you need to do, you know. So rather move to the future with the knowledge that you have to give it to other people, to impart it on them. Then beautiful. I love it. But not everybody believes in ancestors.
We had that conversation. That is okay. We had that conversation last week, and I said the disclaimer of everyone has the freedom to believe in whatever they want. For me, my biggest thing is, because I was saying to my friend that I'm at a point now where I say I'm spiritual, but I'm trying to figure out exactly who my higher servant or the person I pray to is. I grew up in a Christian home. You know, I've been identifying as Christian for the longest time, but then I got to a point of, who am I?
But who are you? Who do you think you are? Please answer that question. Because I read this amazing book, also from my ex-girlfriend.
For some reason I thought you guys were still together. I don't know why.
Guys, that is such a beautiful relationship, but really life happens and people evolve. And yeah, so because normally the books that I read are more of African fiction. Your Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie and your Asa. So normally I don't like reading self-help books. I'm just like,
What's not for you?
You know, because already I'm just like, I did psychology, there was a whole lot of self-books, there's like self-care.
You did many years ago.
I go for personal therapy. I don't want to read self-help books. I don't read motivational books, you know. And also because, you know, when you read, you actually just want to get lost in the story. You want to like imagine what's going to happen. So she gave me a book called, and I posted about it once, called The Untitled Soul by Michael something. So it just literally speaks about like your journey of enlightenment. Didi's enlightenment. Literally, the untethered soul, a soul that is not attached to anything, a soul that freely lives and just processes and moves on. And the first question in the first chapter in the book, they asked, "Who are you?" And so in my head, I'm like, "Oh, I'm Didi. You know." And then literally the next time they're like, "Oh, so you're probably saying you're Sally, the username Sally." They're like, "Okay, so if you remove the name Sally, who are you?" You know, it went in. I was sitting there like, see, this is why. This is triggering. This is triggering. And they go and they break it down. They're like, okay, if we remove your name, do you stop being who you are? No. Then who are you? Like, you have to answer. So who are you? And you go.
That is so hectic, because this week I had an amazing, 2 days ago, I had an amazing session with a friend of mine, and I didn't realize I needed it until I was there. Because I was even saying to her, I felt like canceling because I didn't know what I was coming for. But for me, my spirit led me there, because I didn't feel that I could talk to anyone else. I didn't feel anyone could understand me and get the space I'm in, or help me go through or uncover whatever's going on. But I was led into her space. And it made so much sense, the conversations we were having and how I was just unraveling and everything else. So in part of you asking who am I, I'd say now I'm discovering who I am. I'm not yes, it's a but I am beyond that, and I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure out who or what my spirit connects to, what I love, what I like, who I want to be around, and that's why I'm loving my space so much. And it's not that I like my people less, but I want to learn and heal this girl, you know, and nurture the child in me first, so I know what my steps are going forth, you know. There's a post where I saw it says, "Would you date you?" And I was like, not right now.
You're a lot.
I'm like, not right now. I mean, I for me personally, I don't really know who I am and who I'm even connected to spiritually. So how can I want to go?
That is the most frustrating thing. It's the most. It's really.
It's so
depressing. It's like and I believe everybody goes through some sort of spiritual awakening where the universe or God or whatever it is you believe in, whatever energies the universe forces you into a space to literally discover who you are. And because we're so used to how we are now, because you know how in life we have different stages,
Yeah.
and from those stages, it's different parts of us. That's why we evolve. And now you're forced to abandon this comfort zone, this circle that you know, the circle that you've always operated under, to move into an unknown place, an unknown circle, and you have to you're literally going through a grieving process. That's what it is. You're grieving this circle that once operated in a certain way, that was a certain way in friendships and relationships, and you're just trying to understand. You're going through some sort of awakening. So it's like it's a snake shedding its skin. You're literally shedding everything else, and not everybody actually understands that. They don't understand why have you changed? Do you expect me to stay the same? Like you need
it's so ugly. It's such an ugly experience.
It is. It's ugly because now you also that's why I said it's so difficult to be vulnerable with yourself, because you now have to look at your own toxicity, your own lack of boundaries, the mistakes that you made, or how you thought you were into being this person. Hence why it's so frustrating, because you don't even know how to navigate around your own self. So now imagine if you don't know how to navigate around your own self, how is it going to be with other people? You know, and how do you expect me to be present when I can't be present for myself? Which is what I had said to a friend of mine previously, and I was like, this thing of constantly being there for other people, there's really nothing wrong with being there for people, but have boundaries. I realize I have a lack of boundaries. I can't say no. I struggle to say no, and when I do say no, I get hit by this huge amount of guilt. No, but what if this person? You're not Superman, you're not Superwoman, you're not.
And they'll be fine, right? You're the one that's thinking on their behalf. The moment you say, babes, I'm sorry, I can't, they will understand. Why must you make yourself feel bad as if, oh my God, I'm disappointed? You need to understand is also you constantly being there for other people, you enable a certain behavior in other people where they feel like you are always easily accessible. So at the end of the day, it's, do you really blame them for thinking that you always be there because that's the kind of image, that's the kind of the message that you've communicated with them? Like, no, it's fine, I'll always be there. And then, but some do understand when you say, listen, I actually can't. And they're like, it's fine, I understand. And others are just like, what do you mean? What's this? I don't understand. This is not you. Why you back to like you've changed? Shucks. This was my thought on my way here earlier. And I was like, we, like they say, teach people how to treat you. For the most part, we have taught people that I will always be there. I'll always be present. You can call me for whatever. So the moment you're in your transition and you're just like, no, they're bound to feel like, well, then what do you mean?
But also at the same time, I feel like also when we were in that space where we're teaching people like certain things, we were not like it was us then, but us moving now, we're trying to build healthier relationships with ourselves as well. And what does that look like? Because if I'm constantly going to sacrifice parts of myself to make you feel whole, how do you still expect me to be present in the friendship and still be the very same person that has always been there? I cannot do that. So it's the whole watering thing. If I'm constantly watering you, I'm gonna go through a drought. Because you're not trying to feed back into me at all, But also, are you allowing people to feed back into you?
I think that also comes with expectation of human beings. Do we also expect that because I am filling your cup, I want you to reciprocate the same thing? Or am I fully aware that what I give to Didi, she won't be able to give back to me, but I can get from somewhere else? I don't think in friendship we are fully aware of that. It's like a tit for tat thing. So that's why at some point we end up keeping score. Like, yeah, but I've done this and this for you. Why? My friend said, you must remember that you saying I'm your best friend does not make you my best friend. It doesn't mean I have to be, And I was like,
do you know that so
many
people?
I had this conversation also. Guys, friendship conversations.
I also had a conversation like this where, because now you can have best friend that's and I say out there, guys, Teho is my best friend. But you go say, no, but Dimpho is my best friend. And then I feel like I'm invalidated, or our friendship is invalidated, not realizing that, what, Teho has different friendships. All those friendships serve a certain purpose. Just like all the people in your life serve a certain purpose. There's not one person alone that's going to give you this, That's why we have a support system. And we have to make sure that it's wholesome, because what Umpo can give you, maybe I can't give you. And maybe Umpo's reasoning is not the same as mine because we have different beliefs, our thought processes are different, you know? But, you know, a lot of people really don't.
They don't get it.
Yeah, they don't get it.
I mean,
labels. Labels
and I won't lie, I am one of those people that struggled with that. But not in the sense that I claim you as my best friend, why are you not claiming me? But it's probably jealousy, lack of confidence thing in the friendship where you feel like I've just been feeding too much into this and I'm not getting anything out of it. But instead...
Wait, did you feel like you were not enough because they were not?
Yes.
There you go.
I didn't feel like I was enough for this person. I didn't feel like I was appreciated because I'm giving and giving and giving and they take and give to somebody else. And it was only when I pulled away that I had to realize, but you can't expect, you know, you can't expect to get the same of what you gave from one person. It does not really work like that. And that's also a hard pill to swallow, to just realize that, darling, life doesn't work like that. It's not a, you know, because now you're going to start keeping score. That I did this and this and this for you. Why can't you? And that,
I think it also it speaks, like when you say that, when you feel like you didn't feel like you were not enough, it goes back to you constantly always being there for everybody. So because you're always somebody's hero, the moment you can't fill up that role, you think there's something wrong. Did I do something wrong? Why is she not claiming me? Should I then start acting like this? Should I act like the other person so that I can be more accepted? See, it goes.
And that's how we lose ourselves, right? That's how we lose our identities, because we're trying so hard to be somebody else.
Exactly, and I think that's why it's very important that life, even itself, forces you to be by yourself. Like for me, I believe that there's moments where God will remove everyone. Like he won't like just come, especially when you want your attention. This is a jealous God again. This is also a jealous. When they want your attention, when they feel like you have been stagnant, you will, I don't even know if people are aware, but you will either feel yourself not wanting to be in anybody's company, or people will just like remove themselves from you, and you'll be wondering why. You'll be forced to be alone, to literally confront certain issues within yourself. Sure. And imagine in that moment where you constantly used to be everybody's hero and everybody's moves away and you're alone. You can, in the panic. And
it also takes you time to actually click and be like, oh, this is why this is happening. So before you even realize that you're here deep in your darkest space, like no one wants me, no one wants to be around me, not realizing like, no.
It's also important to just understand that certain friendships are seasonal.
Yeah.
Certain friendships are seasonal, and just because we would like to give somebody in our friendship because maybe we enjoy them so much or they enjoyed what they taught us doesn't mean that they are there to stay forever. You know, maybe they were there because my mom always tells me people are either in your life to teach you a lesson or to be a blessing. You know, so when they do go or something that's happened, ask yourself, okay, why were they here? What did they teach me? What did I learn from them? How did I grow? Is it something I'd like to rekindle? Or is it something that I like to move? You see how we always, when we pray, we can say, God, please remove people from my life that are not for me, move into a bigger space. And then people start removing people you never really thought. And you're like, God, no, that is not the person. You're like, God, that is not the person. You asked for it. Bring them back. And then what happens? You bring them back when they were supposed to be removed.
Yeah.
And then we put up all the time. Again, you know, because I just feel like there's also certain moments where you're meant to receive certain blessings in life, or you're meant to go through certain things in life without having other people present, because maybe somehow they know that if that person, so if you have I'm trying to think of the name, and Dumile, and Dumile is like a leech in you guys' friendship, and God and essence want to bless you, they can't, because they know that if this person is still in your life and we bless her, she will not fully appreciate the blessings. So we need to remove this person so we can fully bless her, so she can literally be, cultivated and overcome with everything. But they cannot bless you if that person is there, literally. And that's why I'm saying, like, also just be big on like energy, like be aware of how your intuition says to you when something is off, but you just like, hi.
We need to learn to listen to it more.
Your
That's the thing.
intuition.
You dismiss of it so quickly.
Mhm.
You need to learn to listen to it more because it tells you from the moment you walk into a room, from the moment you start a conversation with someone, then you know, okay, is this my vibe or not? Is this the person I want to be around or not? You know, half the time we're just like, nah.
See how people
Just
just
go
go
with the
red
flow.
flags in relationships because you keep hoping that you know what, this person will change. Like,
Wait.
did you make them? Did you?
I mean, this person is still the same. What are you talking about?
No, you did not make them.
No, you can't decide that, you know? Okay, second question.
No, questions
Oh,
are hard.
They're not hard.
They call me
Okay, just two more questions from there. We're back to flowing again. What is your favorite memory with your best friend?
Yo. My favorite memory with my best friend.
Aski's another
I really
difficult one.
don't have like, I don't think I have a favorite memory, but maybe I appreciate certain moments that I share with my friends, and I think it's just spaces where I can just be me.
Mm-hmm.
I can just be me. I can laugh. I can just be whatever. Just spaces that really make me feel safe.
Yeah.
Spaces where, because of how I always am, I'm always trying to be someone's hero. It's a space where like I just feel like it's okay to let go and be vulnerable, and then that's fine. So I think it's more for me. I don't know if it's not really moments. I mean, it's not really memories, but it's more moments that were created or moments that I have really just shared with my best friends.
Yeah.
Where breath of fresh air, and I was like, you know what, it's okay. Or even not even like the good times, but like even the times when I'm not okay, and they know that I'm not okay, and they're just like, I'm here. Just know, like, you don't have to pretend to not be okay. And then, because most of the time we always try to keep it together, be tough cookies, and I've got this, and that's what I always do. I'm always the one that has it together because I feel like I constantly have to be strong for people around me, So I really appreciate those people that make it or create that safe space for me, even when I'm unable to do so for myself.
I remember a few months back, my friend literally went at me because she's like, just because she asked how I was doing, whatever, and I responded with a lol because I was like, that's what I'm feeling, like breaking down. I am breaking down. I can barely speak. I was on the phone with a therapist and I can't get my words out, They were here that afternoon, that evening after work, they were here. I had another breakdown and she just held me. She's like, stop this thing of saying you're okay. Stop pushing people away. Because it's like, right? Do you know that discovery is the healing process, the acknowledging and verbalizing that I can shop or something is wrong and I want to deal with it. That is very hard. To tell somebody else, I need you right now.
You know what another thing is that I've noticed is, and that's why they say, you know what, do not invalidate people's traumas. Even though traumas are different, but what's little to you may not be little to me, And I feel like a lot of people are then forced into a space where they're like, you know what, Tseho doesn't have parents, Tseho doesn't have this, why am I crying? Because I didn't get a job. You cannot compare. At the end of the day, trauma is trauma, or a problem is a problem, or your feelings are still feelings at the end of the day, and they should not be invalidated no matter what. So sometimes we even invalidate ourselves and say, you know what, get sharper because it's not that big. And you're like, you know what, at least you have water, at least you have food, at least you have a place to go. Why are you being ungrateful?
Someone is living in the street, but it's not the same. It's what you can't handle right now.
In that moment. That's why it's absolutely valid. So I think that we really validate ourselves and say, you know what, no, get sharp. It goes back to you wanting not to burden other people. No, Kisha, you will break. Listen, you will break. I remember 2 weeks ago, I woke up I had gotten the vaccination on the Friday. I think 2 weeks ago, And then on the Saturday, I like the same thing. Always been strong for people. I'm there. you know, when you cry in your room with a little lump stuck there where nobody can hear you.
I still
and
cry like
it's
that.
silent.
And then when you breathe, like just the deep sigh because you've been holding
like, and you go look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, really? Is this
you?
Is this really you? And I woke up that Saturday morning, and I think maybe my body or my physical health was like, we can't do it anymore. Like, because you've been stacking emotions, I could not get up. I was struggling to breathe. I had an anxiety attack that day. I was crying. And now the thing is, when you keep bottling emotions and you know how if you have a wound here, and it's big, and you're like, you know what? I don't want to touch it. It's too big. I'm gonna put a plaster over it. Then it gets sore. You put another plaster. So it just keeps festering and festering and festering and festering until to a point where it will eat away at everything, and you will now really feel it. So I feel like that's what I have been doing. So yeah, my body was just like,
we can't.
And easy. We really can't. And I really broke down, and I'm just like, I'm tired of being strong. Like, I am so tired of being strong.
And why do we make it look like it's easy? I don't know why we feel like it's the easiest default setting to go to. Just like strong, soldier on, and continue.
I have no idea why we do it. I probably know, but like at this moment, I can't.
You can't, yeah. But and the build-up is so crazy. So that when I was with my friend the other day, and I was just crying, and she just soothed me. She's like, these are for the times where you went through something very traumatic. You couldn't deal with it, and you had to move on. You know, the most times where you had to just suppress your feelings and soldier on and go to work, even though you were feeling some type of way. The times where someone hurt you and you couldn't deal with it, all that you were suppressing, just let it out.
And sometimes when you wake up feeling sad and you don't even know what's wrong because you've been stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking.
You don't know how to identify
the moment the hate that breaks the camel's back and everything has a domino effect, you don't even know. All you know is that you're a mess and you're not okay, and you just need to, like, you know, let it out. You need to literally let it out. Also, the beauty of the book that I was reading, that Untitled Soul, they speak about how, I don't know if you've heard this quote about the root of all suffering is attachment. So,
what?
The root is attachment, because as human beings, when you attach yourself to something, you feel a sense of entitlement to it. You attach your identity to it. So if that thing or that person was to now shift, it shifts you too, because you're attached to it. You know, because you're attached to it. But they're now referring to emotions, and they were like, emotions are not meant to be stored. Emotions are not meant to be stored, and that's the beauty of literally having the 7 chakras. You know, your heart, your saying, emotions are not, they're not, because emotions is also an energy. Yeah. They are not meant to be stored. They are meant to, you're meant to feel it, and you let it go. But because you attach to it, and you don't, and I think it's the thing of, we don't really know how to let go. We don't really know how to process, how to deal with things. We store it.
And you don't know why you're storing it as well. Especially if you say, oh, I've let it go. I know I'm guilty of that in certain instances. And it could be something so small. Like, it sits here, it festers in your mind. You just like, and you want to let it go, but it plays back in your mind all the time. You're just like, why?
So that's the thing, we really, because if somebody was to break your heart today, chest pains are horrible. If somebody was to break your heart today, and you allowed yourself to feel and let go. Every moment that you feel, you don't stop yourself, and you feel and you let go, it would be so much easier. Yeah. You would literally just, I think it's just part of self-regulating, part of just dealing with emotions. And I think we're all learning to do that. Even 60-year-olds or 70-year-olds somehow are still learning to do that. And they made another example about, with the whole attachment thing, is that you could be the happiest person on earth, and because you got Didi at the mall and Didi didn't greet you,
oh, that's not your
entire mood changes. And they were saying there are 7 billion people in this world that because of one, it alters your entire mood. It alters every single, like,
we give people so much power though.
Exactly.
We give human beings so much power unnecessarily.
We really do. And I feel like maybe it's just the way we taught. I don't know, maybe it's how we taught, or how we should regulate feelings, or just living in this patriarchal society as a woman that, you know what, in Bogodo. And I feel like that's what a lot of people have been saying. We want to be soft. Like, the strong thing is overrated. I don't want to be diamonds under pressure. No. I don't want to be that.
Okay, I guess I'm tired. I want to, my next relationship, if I want to cry, I want to cry. Don't ask me why I'm crying. If I want to just, curl up in your arms, I want to do that. Just be soft. Allow you to do things for me and whatnot. My uncles are always like, because now, obviously, I do everything myself. And the last time I was trying to open a door or whatnot, and he's like, what are you doing? Like, oh, just chill. I wanted to carry things. He's like, leave these things. Now, and I'm like, okay, I must unlearn now. And granted, I have a lot of guy friends, but not all of them. I mean, they treat us like boys, so they're not going to be like, hey, your teeth. Hey, it's like, wow. So now I'm at this place where I have to unlearn certain things and learn what I really want from a relationship, from a friendship, and what I can do for myself. I realize I put myself at the bottom of the barrel and everyone else is above me in my own life. So now I need to learn to sift through everyone and just be at the top and be okay without guilt. To just say, no, I don't want to do that. No, I don't like this. No, I'm okay here. I'll sit by myself, without feeling guilty that you are denying people or you're pushing them away, but you're just putting yourself first.
I think what also just matters is when you do that, how you do it is important. Because some people will really make you feel shitty.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, no, I'm choosing myself. No, I'm not saying don't choose yourself. But the way you
address it,
that's also important. How you communicate is also important. You can't do it in a very disrespectful manner. You can't do it in a very gaslighting manner or anything of that sort. Yeah.
Sure. That is okay. Adulting.
That's why they say like you are your most important relationship, and you never really think about it. It's nice sometimes to just put up quotes and say, "Oh, you're your most important relationship." Be like, "Oh, this is so nice," until you actually have to
go through it
and you realize I am. I have to learn. I have to love my. Because think about when you're in a relationship, or think when you're with friends, and it's your friend's birthday. Yeah, I need to get gifts. It's my man's birthday or my woman's birthday. I need to get a gift. I need to do this. I need to make them feel special. Oh, I love them so much. When it's your birthday, do you gift yourself? Let's start there.
You're waiting for someone to come buy you.
Do you gift yourself? Do you make yourself feel special? What is the relationship looking like with yourself? Because I feel like also goes back to expectation. We always expect other people to also do all those stuff for us. And if they don't do it, and you're like, how? But are you doing it for yourself? So imagine you doing all the stuff for yourself, and you bring somebody into that space where Soho's able to do all those beautiful stuff for herself.
Then they know
that person is like, wow, she does this for herself. Or it might also even motivate them to start doing that for
themselves as well. That is a beautiful. I haven't, and it's crazy because every year I think we look forward to how many people are going to wish me happy birthday on Instagram. How many stories am I reposting? Am I going to have a million dots, or is it just going to be one? And I'm just like,
I need to have the perfect picture for people to see that I've grown.
This is so mess.
How many gifts am I going to get? How many,
this is so mess. We depend so much on other people to make us happy, to fulfill us, or to celebrate us and validate us. And we can't do it for ourselves.
But society also has a way of making it seem like the moment you do celebrate yourself, the moment you read out there to yourself, then it's egotistical. Then you're egotistical, and it's it's celebrating your life. It's not being egotistical. Being there for yourself and really just be like, wow, like I'm beautiful.
Because we have been taught and we continue to teach ourselves and everyone around us that you're validated or you're good only when somebody else celebrates you.
Which then makes it hard for you growing up.
Exactly.
To literally positively reinforce yourself or to even affirm. So it really does. The way we really depend on other people, or rather the way just one person can just alter everything around you, just like that one person, and you just like, I'm sure God is just looking down like, and then
Well, now.
you know, and most of the time when we do those things, we never say, what will God think? You know, what will my ancestors say? No, before you leave the house, you know, when like
what would they think?
Yeah, if I'm like this, but what would they think? But if I have this hair, what would they think? But if I do this, what will they think? You know? So we I don't know how we constantly, even if sometimes we do try, but we constantly somehow behaving according to someone's expectations and having to unlearn that and having to validate yourself that, you know what, I'm gonna walk like this with my hair. I'm gonna, you know, because I had insecurities with my hair for the longest time. I was like, if I don't have long hair, I'm not pretty. There's no way. If I don't have long hair, I'm not pretty. I'm not, you know? And it took me. I'm not even gonna come from the time I'm born. Let me just say.
Excuse me. How the peer pressure is real, and that the voices of our peers is much stronger than our parents. Essentially, growing up, and only now you get to realize that. You can listen to yourself and that you're fine. You can do whatever you want, essentially, I think. I'm rambling now.
You really can do whatever you want, though. But I feel like Instagram is the same. Even now, we think, that's what I'm saying, we think peer pressure is actually like when you are smaller in primary. Namanji, guys. The pressure of like, and I guess you need to be, I don't want to say like mentally strong, but you need to know what's for you and what works for you.
Yeah.
And if you're not grounded in that and you go to like Instagram and you see things and you're just like why not me? No. That's why I even had a post that's like late bloomers also still bloom, because there is this whole expectation, or there's an age restriction to things. You by 27 you must have moved out the house, you must have a car, you must have a house, you must have this. You know, guys, exactly, we all come from different circumstances. We don't deal with the same things. Our journeys are totally different. You cannot, it is so unfair to expect people to be at a certain level in their life. And if you are feeling very
I'm gonna fire you like as if you I'm taking you right.
And if you just like not okay, or you're just feeling very inferior because of other what you see, it becomes like social media becomes very toxic.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
Next thing you see somebody you start out with not buying a new car, and you're like, but why not me?
Sure.
Or even I feel like it's even with just like certain insecurities, like now this is whole thing, small waists,
baby, you are not gonna find a small waist over here, and I'm happy with it. I'm over it. Yeah.
You start questioning yourself. You start questioning your worth. But like, would somebody like to be with me if I look like this? Maybe I need to have a bum. I need to do this. I need to do that. You know, and like, you know what? Everybody has a right to change their body the way they want to.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it because you want to be accepted by other people, that is
you
not
still won't be
the
fulfilled.
way to. If you really won't be,
you
that
won't
is
be
not the way to go.
And also, you're changing yourself for someone who may potentially not be your one. And
somebody who actually probably doesn't even care. Somebody who,
you know, and you end up missing your supposed soulmate because you have altered yourself, and you had not given people the opportunity to love you and accept you for who you are.
Sometimes not even how you look, but sometimes we trap ourselves in a certain space where we cannot even see what's for us. You know, when cars just keep passing like this and you don't even see like what's really for you.
Yeah.
Because you're trapped in the space where the lens that you're looking at life through is not allowing you to see what's really for you. Because you're looking at yourself through another person's lens.
You know what? That all of this we keep talking about. This is my transition phase right now. I am literally shedding off of all these things, all these negative thoughts, feelings, and you know, thinking that someone is better than me because they're achieving more. Thinking that I'm not worthy of creating this because I'm just
I think also
a girl.
We were taught that success needs to look a certain way, and then we think that success equals to the amount of materials that you have, or the things that you can afford. Yes, money makes it all go around. You need money to survive. Self-life also support. But what does success look like to you? What fulfills you? What, maybe you being successful means you actually starting this podcast, and for you that's success. It's not of monetary value, And yes, maybe success, some types of success is of monetary value, but not every type of success. That's why people then keep chasing money. You keep chasing money, and you buy a car, you buy a house, but inside you're still empty, because you're doing all these things because you're really trying to keep up with a certain image that I feel like also it's like I don't want to say black families, but like black families, you are those rich aunties and uncles and you are respected because of the kind of car you drive. But
do people really know how you feel though?
The kind of thing, it's Mapula. I can't. No, Mapula, I can't. I can't, Mapula.
I need to see this Mapula thing, honestly. Do you know, earlier today, I stopped myself dead in my tracks before I even, because I was just about to have this thought. There's a childhood friend I saw on Instagram, she's pregnant with a second kid. And I was just about to say, but God, where am I? And I'm like, no. Your path is very different. And you need to remember that there's going to be, guys, we need to move away from halalaring people's journeys and their path and saying, I want a love like Michelle and Barack. You don't know what's going on between Michelle and Barack's love life and everything else. Stop craving for what we see on social media in the public, because the details of those relationships, you don't know them.
You really don't. I remember I had a conversation with my grandfather, and he was like, the problem for other people is that God has a certain journey. He's like, Didi, your journey ki N1. Your friend's journey ki N14. God and your ancestors, that's what they know, for not to my N1.
Yeah.
But when what was my N14. So now you fall into a hole that was not meant for you. And now you want to go question God and your ancestors, why we stick out a hole. But it was not meant for you. Had you walked your path, maybe your hole would have been blocked by some sort of plank. Or maybe somebody would help you jump through it, But because we want to walk people's journeys, we experience struggles that are not for us. Yeah. We experience struggles that, they're really not for you, and now you don't know how to get out of it. Now you need to move back and start walking your own journey.
That is so intense.
It is. And I feel like we, you know what, sometimes you're able to do it, and then sometimes you're not. It's a constant thing, hey. It's really it's really
okay. On a lighter note, the last question. Before we even get into the last question. If you could live in any country, where would it be?
South Africa. I had this conversation this morning. Really? I love my country.
That is so dope.
It's about between South Africa and South Korea.
We were just talking about South Korea yesterday and jobs that side, but anyway, yeah.
Let me just speak about South Africa. You know what? Yes, we've got a lot going on in South Africa, but the beauty of just South Africa on its own. And I feel like everybody feels like this about their own country.
Yeah.
But I cannot imagine being somewhere go America and I really want to tell somebody a joke in Zwana
and you can't. You have to video call
in baby and I can't. Or how we literally laugh through our trauma through humor. We make South Africa is
and just like that very quickly.
Exactly.
Very quickly.
We are vibrant, and as much sometimes we might attack each other, but when we decide to come together, we really do come together. I really love my country. The other country I go for is South Korea, just because I'm obsessed with Korean culture.
Yeah.
Not North Korea, guys. We're not going there to the dictatorship. No ways. But South Korea, even on I think I told you before, on my Netflix feed, it's cool.
I remember. You were trying to get me on it. I was like,
yes. And you told me you're watching Nigerian things. I was like, get on.
What are you talking about?
Train. I'm obsessed with, I think just the Asian culture. The Asian culture from randomly eating with chopsticks. And for my birthday, I got this beautiful noodle bowl that has one of my favorite movies, Star Wars, on it, and it comes with chopsticks. I'm trying to learn their language. Their way of doing things, it's just
so amazing.
It's amazing. And I had this other nice tea, oolong peach tea, but I think this one's from China, not South Korea. But just something about the Korean culture is just very like refreshing. Although there's some stuff I'm just like, you guys are very outdated. You guys, you're really losing it. Yeah, but South Africa number 1, number 2, South Korea.
Hectic. I have never, ever in my life until about 3 months ago considered to live anywhere else but South Africa. Ever. Because I was just like, my sisters always wanted New York for the longest time. And I'm like, babes, go, I'm fine. I'll visit these places and come back. Now I'm just like, whoa, maybe I'll. And the crazy part is, if I say living in South Africa is good, I don't want to. There's no other province I live in aside from Johannesburg. I'm not going back to Blue. Johannesburg is the one.
It's for you.
I wanted Cape Town at some point, but I was like, nah, not my vibe, and it's too expensive and all that. I've explored different provinces, working in there, so I was like, no, they're not. I didn't find nearly, you know. Johannesburg is my one. But now that I'm like, okay, I want to start a family, and do I really want to do it here? I'm starting to consider abroad, and I'm just like, maybe, you know, I'm considering, I don't know, it would be what, Los Angeles or something.
You better get your life, girl.
And I was like, and now I'm like, oh, this vibe. I like this vibe. It's calling me. It's so me, especially with the creative and entertainment space. I would thrive there personally, you know. So now I'm just like, okay, do you want to make it a reality or not? Are you ready to make it a reality?
I think also, you know what? Maybe also like you saying, before you were in a space where you're like, I'm here, South Africa, you know, and the nice thing is that it's within like your comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know people here, you know this. The sort of having to start over again is the same way where you have to start knowing yourself all over again.
Yes.
You're like, I'm
the
here,
fear of it,
you know?
Yeah.
So, but I feel like now you discovering yourself and you truly understanding like where your journey might lead, and that you choosing to live somewhere else. You don't have to worry about my mom recording me. What is my mom gonna say? What is my sister gonna say? I'm leaving them all behind. Are they gonna be okay without me? You just say, what will serve me best? And I feel like Los Angeles will serve me best because of the kind of opportunities that they have.
Yeah.
And I'm saying like, oh no, South Africa is bad. No.
Oh no. This is home, dude. Like when you say the culture here, guys.
That's the reason I'm staying. You know?
The culture here with all the every country and every place has their bad, but the way we come together, our friends, the way you can just laugh and have fun and just, you know,
our culture.
It's just so amazing.
No, it really is. I'm just like, I think for me it's a thing of if I move to another country, it is not permanent. It'll just be for like maybe 3 years. Yeah. And then I come back. Because I'll be like, spiritually, guys, where am I going to go to my grandfather's and great grandfather's graves? Where am I going to go? What if I need to, you know, and sometimes we do have grandparents that don't even have access to technology like that. And sometimes you want to speak to them and they're not there. You can't just easily drive to Limpopo and be like, oh, I'm here. Now you're like 5,000 kilometers away and you don't, you know? And maybe that's part of growing up, but I know.
So for me, part of also not wanting to is that I have easy access to my parents from here. I feel like I'm homesick. I can easily drive, and I'm very affectionate. I can easily drive around, like I can hold them, hug them, and everything. You know, see my grandmother. Now I'm just like, oh, so you want to go where? You know. So at first you talk yourself out of it. You want to go where? And you may be stuck there for how long before you could come back? You know. So you just have to try and also look at the bigger picture of where you could potentially grow and what that place could do for you. You know, but man, home is home.
I might be in a different state somewhere where I'm like maybe something.
Yeah, but already you're set. You're saying South Korea. You know.
I think, and all my friends know, guys, Korea. And I have this thing of like they'll be doing something, and I want to say thank you. I'm like, set me down. In Korea, and I'm just like, oh, set me down.
Dude, you know, when I was a serial TikToker, I used to see people that people that loved anime, and I'm seeing black people obsessed with it and they love it, and I'm like, I love how we embrace other people's cultures. I love how we learn other people's languages, and the way we speak it so fluently and so free. It's just like a most amazing thing. Who would have thought that there'll be a day where black people are speaking Korean and
I'm really trying to learn, but it's hard. Not the writing.
Yeah,
the writing is for me it looks like lines and circles, and I don't know that. but just
and the fact that people can read that is intense,
right? But I think also I just have a thing for languages. I'm trying to learn all the South African
languages.
Yeah. I can speak 4. Yeah.
Which is
the easy ones.
English,
Afrikaans. I also teach Afrikaans.
Oh, lovely.
My home language, Pedi.
Yeah.
And then Sesotho, I'm trying.
Okay.
I can fully understand it.
Yeah.
But like
at least it's not even so far off of
it's not far. That's why it's easy for me to understand Sotho and Tswana and to speak it because they're very, like the dialect is very mixed. It's just different words here and there. And then I can understand Zulu. So most of them I can understand. It's just like me speaking. Yeah. That's just a bit shaky. But I'm trying to learn it. Now I'm trying to learn Venda.
Oh, see that one I tried, man. It's like, I'm trying. Venda for me feels hard.
Zonga for me feels hard.
They're almost the same, isn't it? No?
I don't, maybe. No, but I feel like Zonga has more, it's like Zulu dialect.
Yeah. So for me, I feel like Tsonga and Venda, I've almost made a comparison similar to Tswana and Sotho. Because also they can speak to each other and understand. The crazy part of me is that my first language that I spoke was Afrikaans. Fluently. Now, don't try me to say, let's have a conversation in Afrikaans. I don't know some gibberish, and our neighbors back home. That's what you're gonna get. Our neighbors at home are Afrikaans speaking people, and the young boy loves coming to our house. And I was like, put that in English, what is it? Leer. Because I'm like, I can't, bro. I can't be speaking.
All the time I must be breaking Africa.
That's how my parents and my brother are flowing this big. They're going. I'm like, nah, my man. We need to speak English, you and I, because I can't do this.
No, I think that also happens to a lot of people. You grow up learning certain languages, and as you grow older, because you don't pay attention to it,
you let it go.
It just goes. It's
that's so hectic.
Yo, more questions.
No, it's a last one.
You said 3 questions.
No. The questions. No, listen. The questions are done. Okay. These are just close. It's not even closing. These making
cheats. You trapped.
No. So this is going back to the friendship conversation, right? I was talking to Gege actually not so long ago, and I said to her, I'm like, why is it that people go to therapy for their individual healing? They go to family therapy, they go to couples therapy, but there's no friend therapy. I'm like, why can't we go to therapy as friends? Because personally, I was saying to my cousin, I feel like you and I as friends, we need it, you know, because we had our own, and I'm like, and I was like, can we do friendship therapy? And we need to popularize it so that we stop saying, or stop this thing of, if a friendship falls apart or whatnot, you just let it go and you move on. And it's easier to go create a new friend. Drake said, I don't know how many years ago, no new friends. Yes, we're creating new friends, but can we try also repair this one and see what do we need to correct whatever was going on here?
That's if it can be
corrected.
Yes. Guys, friendship therapy. That's actually good. I actually never thought of friendship therapy. Really. But I just think the therapy holistically should be for everything, because at the end of the day, friendship is a type of relationship. You know, it requires some sort of effort from both sides. It's, you know, the same way you'd navigate a normal intimate relationship. It's just that with friendships, I don't know. It's really just like that whole thing of people having friends that constantly expect you to be there all the time. The moment I can't answer a text because I'm busy, you know what, if you don't want to talk to me, it's fine. No, my life does not revolve around you. It really does not. I am busy with something. If I cannot attend something, you know, I had a birthday last, you know, and there was a friend of mine whose mental health was at risk. I was like, you know what, it's okay. If you feel like you cannot be there, it is fine. I'm not gonna, of course I want you to be there. Of course I'll be a little sad about that you're not there, but I will not hold it against you, because I understand that you are not in a space to be around other people. So why should you then extend yourself like that when you know it's going to do more damage than good? And what's the point of being in a space where everybody's happy? But like, have you been like that, where everybody's happy, but like your mood is now, your mood is, it's it's literally you're just in a very lethargic mood,
and you want to try be there, but it's not
you
working.
really try. That's what I'm saying. It's so important that like in adult friendships you really extend grace to one another, because sometimes we don't speak about certain struggles to our friends because we're like, they're not going to understand. But just when I say, friend, I'm not okay and I will not be able to, don't do it. I remember last year, this is not a friendship, but it was a relationship, and I was not feeling well at all because I'm anemic. I was not feeling well. I could not do anything, and I'm like, this is my ex-girlfriend, and I was like to them, listen, I'm not feeling well. I can't do this. And they were like to me, use your last bit of strength. Yo!
Excuse me?
Use your last bit of strength.
To give to you.
Essentially. You. Do you understand?
What selfish is that though?
It is so
depleting.
So I think it's same with other friendships where you're constantly expected to give, to be available when I call. If I don't answer your message after a day, if you don't want to talk to me, it's fine. The first thing is, why don't you want to talk to me? Did I do something wrong?
It's not about
are you okay?
Yeah.
Is there something I can do to help you? Like, why are you not extending? Because you never know when you're going to need it.
True.
You're not going to know. The very same person that feels like they're entitled to your time, to your life, to everything, the moment they go through something and you can't extend the same grace, and they're like, why can't you? Were you able to do it? Also. Because I feel like the same energy you put in is the same energy that you're going to get back. That's why it's so important to literally, like, you know how they say, like, really cultivate your circle. You know, we grow up being in like large groups, and then it ends up becoming smaller and smaller. But really just cultivate your circle. Know, like now you're saying you want to try go for friendship therapy, but know when a friendship has like reached its limit. Know that you know what, this person is adamant on being this way, that even if we do go to therapy, it's not going to work. Because there's some friendships where you guys have been friends for a really long time and you can't even address certain issues with them about them because they're going to take it as a personal attack and do something wrong, and you're like, listen to me, I didn't like 1, 2, 3. Oh no, but I did it because you did 1, 2, 3. No, we're not playing blame here. I'm just saying in that moment you hurt my feelings. The least you could do is be like, listen, I'm sorry, I was not aware that I behaved this way. Take it in. You know, not everybody is like that. Not everybody is willing to go to therapy and acknowledge how they maybe jeopardize the friendship, but they're more about pointing fingers to make themselves seem like, as white as white as it. I don't know what they say, but they're
the purest humans,
ever. And I feel like if you have friendships where you can you create spaces where you're able to be honest with each other. I'm referring to my ex-girlfriend again. She said to me, she's like, it's so funny how people say when you love somebody, like, be honest and whatnot, but they really don't practice honesty.
But how are you practicing honesty?
Like, you don't, like, yes, we speak about how, like, how you communicate, but, like, if and I'm saying, and no, your uncles don't stink. I'm just making a reference. Thank God. They don't say, but I'm like, and your armpits stink. And I'm just like, I don't want to tell her because I don't want to embarrass her. But if I love you so much, why would I want you to go out there and embarrass yourself? Why can I not be honest enough with you?
At least embarrassment is here.
And
you
fit and we're creating a space for each other.
And you fit
what kind of space are you creating with your friends where, like, is it easy? Can you really talk to each other? Sure. Really can you? And then there's some friendships where you just have to know that, like, even if you've known a person for 20 years, it does not mean they still have to stay in your life. Time.
Babes, when I say
means time really means nothing. Like you said, we really are grown people, and that should be okay. Don't feel like you are then. We have to save them because we've known each other for 15 years.
It doesn't mean I love you any less. I'm just setting certain boundaries. So with that, there's a quote that, so I love Chrisette Michelle. And I started following her life properly after a while after her divorce.
She's the singer, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Not her.
That's the best reference, I started following her a while after her divorce because And I wasn't even aware she was divorced. I was like, I love this chick. I want to see where they are. And you know that thing of checking on people. Yeah. And then I follow her on Instagram and I was like, oh, she's divorced. And she was going through this healing phase. And she was going through a time where she was being cancelled by the industry because she agreed to perform at Donald Trump's inauguration, you know. And it's only like 5-6 years later she explained how the whole thing happened. But I was following her path, her healing phase and everything else. She's literally cultivating herself and so I consume her content a lot on Instagram. There's a post where a video she did where she talks about friendship. All laborers won't be friends and all friends won't be laborers. And the mistake we make as human beings is we try to make them one. I'm trying to make my work colleague my best friend. I'm trying to make my friend or my best friend part of my work life. That doesn't work. So we have this high expectation of the role people have to play in our lives. And that's where the lines get blurred, because if Didi can't come help me with this, or Didi says, no, I can't be on your podcast, she's just like, what kind of friend is this? Didn't you say, oh, congratulations that your podcast is not Now I'm creating expectations and I'm placing you at a level that you did not even intend to be at, or you were not supposed to be at, you know? So I'm wondering, like, a lot of us, are we aware that we're doing that with our friends, where we feel like because we're friends, okay, we have to do this together. You have to be here with me.
Do you know this thing that sometimes you have to do everything with all your friends? Like, sometimes it's really not realistic. And so me and my friends, we have like a little sisterhood, but we all like stay at different places, right? And obviously the ones that stay close together are most likely probably going to meet up and, you know,
more often than,
but that does not invalidate you being in the friendship. It does not invalidate your role being in the friendship at all. Unless, you know, you're an address and be like, guys, is there, you know, but like, no, but then there's those friends I feel like, you're not including me. No, it's not that we're not including you. You are not here. Like, and you further, and when we do try and invite you, but like, we know it's a struggle. You know, it's not going to happen. I think you need to realize the kind of roles your friends play in your life. Not everybody will have the same role at all. The friend that you cry to at 3 a.m. may not be the friend that you go and you party with all the time.
Yeah.
You know, the friend that helps you with your business and this and this and this may not be the same one that plays the roles of the other ones. So like you said, we cannot expect our friends to be the all saver.
Yeah.
They cannot be an all saver. You need to have realistic expectations of other people. Grace. Have grace, guys.
I think we speak about it too much, but when it's time to act on what we request, what we speak about, or our expectations, we're just like we're not being lenient, we're not being too understanding. It's easy to verbalize something, but when it's time to act on it, we're just like, but
I think I'm blessed with the kind of friendships I have. I feel like I'm really blessed to be in a space where I was honest enough with my friends about where I stand and things I wanted, and they were in a space where they were honest enough to receive it and not feel it as a personal attack, you know. Because last time we were just having a space where my other friends were talking, and they were like, "Oh, you know, I actually never used to like you before, but now I really like you." And they were not like touched. They were like, "Oh, I also didn't," but like then we're in a different space, but now we were evolved to like let you like that. So creating that space where you evolve and you know that this person is not for me now, and that is fine. And that is fine. And also this thing of, what is it? You know how earlier you were speaking about when I was dating that person back then, and because they introduced us, we started being friends. Sometimes people don't realize that when you introduce two people together, they then form a bond. Yeah. And it grows. And that person becomes a very like pivotal part of that person's life. You know?
And it's beyond you.
And now it's really beyond you. It's really beyond you. So, and as human beings, we interact, we meet through other people. True. So why are you then feeling entitled to how somebody's friendship should start or how it should operate? Yeah. That's also another thing as adults where we're like, you're enemies. I don't really know. Because I have a friend of mine where she was just like, your friend is your friend. Yes, I know her, but she's not my friend. And she understands that role and she understands that boundary.
She doesn't even have to be there all the time.
She does not. It's really not my friend. Just because you also that's what I'm saying. You can introduce people, they can hit off, they don't have to hit it off. But yeah.
So that is so true. I mean, for me, my sister and I, we've introduced
so many people, and I'm just like,
I can't feel entitled. Yeah, oh no, because I introduced Didi before, I must always be around, or now my friendship with Didi is finished, I can't be friends. Like, no, it doesn't work. Maybe you're meant to just be a connector. You know, a lot of people, you're meant to be a connector. That is a
connect for a lot of people.
Connect them and let people move on. Don't now hold grudges or feel some type of way because you're not part of that circle. You're not meant to be part of that circle.
It goes back to feeling entitled to people's lives.
Right. Also, why do you want to spread yourself so thin?
Right?
I'm just like, right now, I'm enough for me. And occasionally, so some of my friends, you know, even a relationship still feels a bit
overwhelming.
You know, it's a lot. But I don't want to spread myself so thin. Actually, I've done it for too long. Now I'm choosing not to. So be okay with not being present every single time dealing with chill. Like,
oh, now I must be there because...
Nah, babes.
So that's... Guys, that's something we need to work through. But grace, I feel like my
grace is necessary.
Let's give each other grace. That if your friend is unable to do something in that moment and they genuinely cannot do it because work stress, life stress, existential crisis, kids, they just like the you know, there's COVID now. People are just trying to work through anxieties. Really be patient with people. Really be patient with people you say you really love. Like really. Allocate that space to be like, you know what, friend, I know right now you're not able to be present. But should you come back, I am here. I'm not taking anything as a personal attack. I'm allowing you that space. And it's easy for that person to know that, you know what, I can pull back, but I do know that these people have my back.
That's true.
You know, and like people are now just gonna just leave. But the important thing is also to communicate because it's different to ghost people and then want to come back and then not really explain what happened.
And you want them to be okay when you come back.
Life carries on, you know. Energy you put in is the energy you get out. Grace. That is it.
Okay.
You started with your questions.
I'm done with my questions. You're about to close. Didi, you're such a mess. So I was I was listening to Drake this morning. What is it? What's the CLB? Certified Lover Boy. CLB. I was listening to
Condomize, guys.
Bruh. That man. And already people are in their feelings. I'm like, guys, breathe. I'm looking at all these posts on a screenshot of the star in tears. I was like, no, it can't be that deep. So he said, I can't remember what song it was, there's a line that stood out, and I was like, whoa. What I love about my life right now, the place I'm at, I'm learning to pay attention to the universe speaking to me, to the energies around me, to what is present, and you know, and receive it if I'm meant to receive it. This part said, I've been losing friends, but finding the peace. Honestly, that sounds like a fair trade to me.
Rather, if anybody is out there to disturb your peace,
apart for a second, I was like, yeah, but this friend, and I'm like, now you're creating that guilt again. You're starting with that guilt again. So through that and really wanting your peace, work through those little channels of not feeling like, if I let this one go, they're gonna feel like some type of way. And probably people won't even feel like that. It's just their own thoughts, probably.
But there's people who will feel, but I also feel like if I'm toxic free, it's a hotel me. Like I was going to say be man enough, be woman enough. Be woman enough to be like, Didi, right now in my life, listen, you are really not helping me to cultivate myself to the best of my ability, and I feel like I need to just remove myself. Because also like the same thing, if you don't communicate with things, people will constantly think things are fine, or they will just stay and they will continue leeching and leeching. So you also need to just remove yourself from spaces that, you know that thing, remove yourself from spaces that really no longer serve you, or else they will just keep draining you. They will keep draining and draining you. So know when to be like, I need to unplug. I need to move, because I don't have, like, your power source just gets depleted when this person is around.
Sure. And
you know the cost that your peace comes at. You know that at the end of this, not even at the end of the journey, but at the end of this process that you're going through, where you're trying to unlearn, relearn certain parts of Tsecho, grieve and mourn. It came at a cost. It came through frustration, it came through depression, it came through so many emotions. And Are you willing to just all let that go because of one person? You know, a person where you like, it's fine. That's why they say, who's this? Jada Pinkett Smith was like, it's okay to love a person, but sometimes you need to love them from far. You need to love them
from a distance. Your love is no less, but
it's not less. But you need to really protect. You need to really protect, or else you will be, guys. You will not recognize yourself. You will, like, from inside, you will feel, and then you just feel like a great disconnect from everything. Like, you will just, no. And God will embarrass you. If you don't want to remove that part, God will embarrass you, guys.
You don't listen.
Or it will just constantly make you feel uncomfortable around that person until you just say, no.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough. Just like any relationship, you're like, God, if this person's mine, show me the way. And then you get up and it's like red flag, and you're like, you don't want to listen.
Hey, I'm guilty of that, man. For years, I will not lie to you. And for me, I feel realizations of life are tough, man. Transitioning, I realize there's a certain emotion or something I've been chasing in seeking relationships that I feel. I recently realized that it's because you don't get that type of love at home.
They did say, I think it's a psychologist who and she's like, I don't know if it was her or just when you're scrolling through Instagram and they say, if you don't address your childhood traumas, your romantic relationships will definitely address them.
I was like, whoa, that is a tough one. It's like the emotional craving or seeking that you want from a particular person. You're seeking it and you're seeking it from the wrong people as well, and you're seeking it from people that are not even looking to give it to you, but you're just like, I'm here.
I want to feel like we want to be close to people who are emotionally unavailable.
That is the most toxic thing ever. I'm just like, why? Why do you find it easier and better to fight for someone's
also
attention and
to childhood
trauma?
With the kind of how did you see love? How were you loved? Do you feel like love is something you had to fight for? Was the only love that you were exposed to destructive love, and even in your adult relationship you feel like you have
to chase, how it carries out,
and you feel like you don't deserve like a pure worthy love where a person can just be kind to you and a person can really be like available to you, but like we wanna we thrive of chasing. Literally we thrive because chasing, that's what we have arguing, because that's what we have known, and to deal with it takes a lot, because it means you have to go back to the 8-year-old you or the 6-year-old you, and you have to unlearn, actively unlearn that, and literally take that bandage off that wound and literally clean it out, and then try to start afresh and literally tell yourself, I'm worth it, the person that's made for me, or because even if a person who's made for you does come in your life, but you have not healed, but you're not willing to deal with certain traumas from your past, it's not really going to work.
It's not going to work. It wouldn't even be the time for it.
They're gonna end up paying for the price of your traumas, and vice versa. You will not. And I think one of my friends always says, when she prays, she's like, when I ask for like a partner, and she's like, God, please give me this kind of partner, ABC, but also prepare me to receive the person that you have prepared for, like really prepare me to be in a space where I'm able to see that this is my person. It's the same thing where I'm saying, if you are in a space of toxicity all the time, you will not see what's made for you. You will not come to the realizations that you actually see. You will literally just miss everything. So it's very important that
clear your path.
Spiritual hygiene.
Clear your path.
It's really clear it, for real, so they don't know. But it's hard, guys. Emotional regulation is hard. Some people can do it. I have a friend that I don't even know if this is good emotional regulation or it's just detachment. But they make it seem so easy. When it's just feel what you need to feel. It's like, no, you think that I don't feel. No, I do feel. But after I feel, I let it go. Why am I still?
A lot of people. I mean, there's a few people who are able to do that very easily. So I'm also not sure if it's healthy.
I don't know if it's
like some sort of detachment or just,
I know. I'm just sometimes I wish I was I wish I was like that.
Because you sit with the emotions for so
long.
Some
of us hold on to emotions That's like crazy, and you sit and you're like, no, I'm done. I've dealt with it. Can't you just pushed it under the rug?
Yeah.
You really pushed
and
it
I believe
under the
that
rug.
I think that's what I've been doing for the longest time, and it's only now I'm just like, yo, I need to get all of this out. Because I've just been pushing. And if I really want to manifest my next relationship, a healthy, loving, and genuine, reciprocated one, I need to let all of this go and just hear my energy and just, be good by myself as well. And show myself,
really.
And just show myself the love I've been giving everyone else.
Loving yourself, it's not as easy. Because you need to know because we always speak about, unconditional love to other people. Do you unconditionally love yourself?
Do we know that?
Do you unconditionally love yourself for all your flaws? Just like how we speak about the beauty spot and the birthmark and this. Too many times our love is dependent, or our perception of love is dependent on what other people will accept of us.
I just remembered the Bible verse, and I don't know where it is, but it's not in the Bible. Babes, please, I'm regulating here, okay? Mom, I'm regulating. Where it says, love yourself as you... Okay, love your neighbors as you love yourself. But sometimes it's like, the love we're giving our neighbors, it's not great because we don't really love ourselves. What love do we have for ourselves? I feel like we love our neighbors more than we love ourselves.
That is true. Do we not always love other people more than we love ourselves?
We love other people more. So for me, that verse, when you read it, I'm like, well, I don't connect to it because we don't show ourselves that much love.
Also, I get you. So you're just saying, if I can't show up for myself, how's it that I'm able to show up for
everybody else? But we do it.
But
that's the crazy part. We do it.
That's what I'm saying. We think it's easy. It's just hard being vulnerable with yourself. And recognizing yourself and allowing, because sometimes with neighbors and stuff, it's something you have to deal with every day. You are stuck with you forever. You start with other people. It's like you see them here and there. So it's easier. It's not, you don't see everything, but you see everything. So, but it's just much easier because it's from a distance, and you don't have to go through their traumas that they go through. So it's easy to be like, I love you. I will give you this to make you feel better at this. So same thing we're saying. When it's your birthday, you don't gift yourself. You don't make yourself feel special. You wait for other people to do it.
Yeah.
It's the why. Like, why do we, guys?
I think it's going to be an ongoing. It's going to be an ongoing question, especially because we're all learning and discovering ourselves at different times.
It's a lifelong.
It will never end. So for me, just summarizing the whole podcast, it's healing, learning, and growing, because we can never stop doing that. It's going to look different today. It's going to look different next week, next year. We will never stop learning because we never stop growing. We never stop developing. We become different people every single time. So you have to allow yourself those three basic things. Allow yourself healing, learning, and growing, and you just become kinder and loving to yourself.
And healing is not linear. Healing is messy. Healing is messy.
Bona, how can I, the things I'm going through right now, it's like, wow.
It's messy. But once you do heal, be like, oh. But also, like, be mindful of how when you do heal and you are much stronger, or you're much stronger, Didi, when you prepare yourself for the next thing. And that next thing requires you to heal even more. But you're just at a much better position to handle it better. So your resilience has grown. Your perception of things has grown. So you're learning, you're growing, you're evolving for the next stage, for the next process. So I allow people grace in friendships and relationships to really grow. To really grow. And I feel like people really get lost in like relationships, and relationships referring to friendships as well. You really get lost in them, doing everything for them. Because why? It's also a form of avoidance. Because
it's easier.
You don't have to
deal with yourself.
It's like everything for my friend. Let's do this, let's do that, So much easier. But grace, healing, learning, growing, evolving.
Love it.
And sisters.
In closing.
And God.
Last question.
And last question.
So listen, this is what happens. These first three questions questions are icebreaker questions, right?
Oh,
And then from there, we just continue chatting and. So the reason, I was saying to my friend last week, the reason why I have these cue cards is because my mind is flooded with a lot of things.
Yeah.
And in order for, you and I could talk about 10 things at once, but if I don't have this structure here, that's what will happen.
What the main
purpose of this conversation is. So I have to do this.
You said last questions like
I have to do it.
Okay.
So this I only added today because I saw it on my friend's status and I was just like, honestly, I actually don't know how to answer this. He's like, does anyone else feel like they lost a bond with someone this year that they wanted to last forever?
Yes, that goes for everyone. It goes back to you losing people that you thought would always be there. Because things like, as people, we appreciate certain things about other people. Like there'll be something about Tejo, and only Tejo alone has like that certain thing, and you just cherish it. And the moment Tejo's no longer in your life, that part also goes. Hence why I say people come in your life as a blessing and as a lesson. There's certain things maybe that you need to appreciate and you need to learn moving into like your new friendships or your new relationships. But it really does hurt, guys. Like you get chest pains from relationships, and then you get friendship chest pains, you know, because your friends is your person that like you talk about everything. Chumi, Chumi, I'm not okay. Chumi, like your friend is really like you. Like I don't want to say you're everything, but the person you really just have everything to. You know, they're like your friends. So the moment you lose that, it means you can no longer just be in a space to not only just communicate with that person, but I feel like you also have to mourn a part of yourself that was attached to that person, and knowing that you can't have certain conversations like that, and you need to just mourn that and like have a whole process through that, and then move on to the next one. But it's really hard. It's really hard. But don't bring back the I think not good for you.
So that's what I'm also trying to evaluate from you right now, that there's a lot of people that I have created space between myself and them, and I miss parts of them. I miss certain engagements, even when you watch videos or whatever. But then you ask yourself like, but do I want them back in my life the way they were there? Or is it fine like this? Or do I want them in a certain capacity, whether as a laborer or whatever? But you know, so the beauty and idea of the space that I'm in right now is that I get to question, discover all of that, and answer it without the pressure of feeling like you have to be here now.
You don't, but also just it's also you evolving, because the Tahoe then wanted them to be around, but the Tahoe that you're transitioning into is in a whole different mindset, a whole different space where she doesn't have space for that kind of interaction, or just that interaction just alone, but everything else she cannot really accommodate, therefore she needs to move. You really need to move. And it just goes back to like even in relationships when you're dating somebody, you feel like you can only break up with a person if like they've done something wrong, it's cheating and whatnot. But you can really break up with a person because your goals are no longer aligned. You guys are growing. You know, people say, "Oh, we're growing apart." No, but you guys you're growing apart, but you're going forward. And because you're growing apart and going forward, you guys may not be at the same level. And learn to just acknowledge that that is a part of life. And if you then want to carry on, you have to build a whole new foundation around the new people that you are, and not go back then, because then you were very much different.
That's true. I've learned to stop asking people, but why did you break up? You guys are so cute. Yes, from the outside, they look cute, but you don't know what's happening in people's relationships. And now you're sitting here heartbroken because your favorite couple is no longer together. I mean, really, guys.
You don't know that what people go through. We don't, we really don't. But you see, that's the thing. Perception, something on the outside looks so good. How can it break? You don't know what's inside. You really don't know what's inside. Only that person knows. Honestly.
Didi, thank you.
Like, comment, subscribe, tune in to my next YouTube channel, okay? I can never do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
for contributing to this amazing conversation, to this amazing journey that I am on. I really appreciate it. My biggest thing with this podcast is to learn. even if I'm sharing or shedding parts of me, it's to learn from other people. And I feel like I learned a lot today. I can happily and gladly watch this back and just, reflect and gain perspective and just gain strength for myself, and I pray and hope that somebody else out there can do the same as well.
But thank you for allowing me in your space and letting me be part of your journey where you're going. Touched us, really touched.
Bye!